Patty, you know what time it is?
I do.
What time is it?
It's time for a
Midweek Update. That's pretty good, Bob.
Good
job. Welcome back, everyone, and a big thank you to our friend Bob and Stella, his beautiful dog, for doing that intro for us. When we were at the Iowa campout, we found out that Bob secretly had been wanting to do that.
Right.
And so at first he said no, but we were able to coax him into doing it with us.
He had a lot of coaxing.
Yeah.
And so he did it.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, Patty, actually he did it so well. He does this like, we're going to keep that clip around. That'll be making more appearances at some point.
Yeah, random appearances, kind of, if everyone needs a little
pick
moment,
me up.
Yeah, with Bob. So
yeah, I like how he did that little inflection.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that.
I don't either, but it was great. So thank you, Bob. We really appreciate that. So anyway, hope everybody is having a great week.
Yeah.
And had a wonderful weekend last weekend. So currently tonight we are here just south of Portland at a state park.
Right.
But tomorrow we're going to be heading up north closer to Mount St. Helens, and then we just were able to secure a state park on the ocean in Washington for a couple nights. So yeah, we're going to go back to the ocean. We were told the beach is pet friendly, and we still haven't been able to get these guys actually on a beach.
No.
We've seen the water, but I think this will give us a chance to take them for some nice long walks on the beach. So
that would be good.
But maybe bring you up a little bit to speed as to what's been happening, because obviously our travel videos are a little bit behind. We just posted on Monday the Wyoming portion with Russ and Carrie.
Lots of fun.
And based upon the comments and the views, that's been a popular video. So
yay.
Yeah, so we'll have more travel videos coming. But anyway, what we've been doing is we had a wonderful camp out here in Oregon.
Lots of fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then we headed to Tillamook for the 4th of July. We were able to meet up with our friends Jeff and Shelly. Had a really nice time. Now, we did not get into the same park that we were in last year. So we were in this new park, and when I say new, it's an old park under new ownership.
They're trying to make it new.
Yeah, and we definitely saw the effort. I mean, they were, you can see the new things they've done. It's the Tillamook Coast RV Park.
Right.
But ultimately what it was is just a big gravel parking lot.
I feel like I was in like an RV parking lot. We were that close, like I could open our little windows and hand out food or snacks to people.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was electric and water. I think we ended up paying like $45 a night, but it was, you were just on top of each other. Plus probably, I don't know, close to a third of the park looked like people living in old trailers. Again, I think the owners are trying to make it better. There were definitely signs of that, but it was a place to park our camper, literally.
It did its purpose.
Yeah.
And we were able to park. We didn't feel good enough to leave the pups alone.
No,
so,
I didn't feel safe with that.
Yeah, we took them with us everywhere we went.
And it was so close. We didn't even in the evening sit out. We just felt like, I mean, it just...
Well, it just felt like you're on top of everybody, and you didn't have a space that was yours. So it just felt cramped. And so we did what we did and stayed there. We were able to go to Rockaway Beach and Seaside and do the things we wanted to do, and then we decided to leave a day early.
Right, so we had booked 4 nights, but we just decided after 3 nights we had done what we wanted to do, and we just decided to eat the cost and go do harvest toast. So I had called the day before to this winery, and they said no problem. Interestingly enough, when we showed up, they were a little perplexed why we were there, or at least the person who was checking us. And after she did a little digging in the office, she did find our name on the list. But the reason was they were having a wedding that night, and so they weren't planning on doing a harvest toast. Now, I offered to leave, but they said it was fine as long as we just respected the wedding party, and which we did.
We were wedding crashers.
No, we weren't wedding crashers. We did get to see it because we were parked up on a hill, and it was down below. So we kind of watched it. Well, one thing we did do was we left at before 4 o'clock. That's when the actual ceremony was taking place. We figured Truman and Beth should not be barking during the
that
I
wouldn't be
do's.
good.
So we left during that. I think we came back about 5:30 as the reception started. And actually, they were probably more bothersome to us than we were to them because of the DJ. And
we got to hear some
we got to hear some.
music.
Yeah, we got to hear. I'm not complaining. But I will say. The wines were excellent.
Oh, so good
The
there.
tasting was wonderful.
They were a lot of my likey.
Yeah.
They were right up my alley.
And the name of that winery was Melrose Vineyards down near Roseburg.
It was just a beautiful property. They had us up by the tasting room, the parking area, and we looked down. It was down a hill that you could had all these grounds and trees and pergolas and a water fountain and flowers. It was just a beautiful area. So we got to see like the bouquet toss and some photos when we got back. And then we could hear the reception going on and the partying going on. But it was real pretty.
Yeah, and then the plan was to leave there and head south into California with the ultimate goal of going to Napa and San Francisco. And we were having issues. We were having issues actually with we've been having issues with Harvest Host in the sense that
hard
they're just booked. Every time I call, even a day or two in advance, they're saying, sorry, we already got 3 or 4 coming.
Or they're full, or they're not ready, or whatever. And
then the places we like to stay, like county parks, which are cheaper and things like that. I kept reading these reviews in California about issues with homeless people or
safety.
like safety concerns.
Locking everything up.
We don't have, we have good lock for Indiana on our trailer, but
I don't think we have a good lock
for out here from what we were being told.
From what we were
So short of the story is, and you'll see this in upcoming videos, we did not go to San Francisco, and part of it was we just didn't want to drive that far. I think we're wearing down
a little bit,
and so we ended up heading that next day over to Crescent City, California, because ultimately there were 2 things I really wanted to do. One was I wanted to see the Redwoods, which we did get to do.
Beautiful. Wow.
Well, I guess there was 3 things. Number 2 was I wanted to meet one of our subscribers, Pastor Cassie, who has been so nice to us over this past year and a half or whatever that we've been on YouTube, or 2 years on YouTube.
Yeah. We did that.
And we got to do that. We did get to meet her and her sister, which was awesome. We had such a nice... We ended up spending like
3 hours.
3 or 3.5 hours with them.
Jibber jabbering.
Yeah. And thank you for lunch. You didn't need to buy in the Dutch Brothers and all of that. But and then the final thing that we had planned to do was go to Napa. There was a winery that I actually wanted to go to because my parents had went there with my aunt and uncle when my aunt and uncle from Texas were stationed in Sacramento. But we're going to do that another time because unfortunately, as many of you know, my aunt and uncle were unable to attend or the trip. Is that the right word? Attend. They were unable to come this time. They weren't able to come this time. Sorry, I got off my game just a little bit. We're sitting beside the disc golf course, and I didn't realize somebody was, quote, teeing off with their disc, and I was trying to be quiet there for a second. And then the other thing is I have Truman like wrapping himself around my leg, yanking.
The boy's on the move.
So, and if you feel the picnic table moving, that's why. So ultimately, we did go to Crescent City, and we had a great time, and then our Alde quit working.
Right, because we woke up at the winery the prior.
Yeah, that's when it started.
And I heard something that sounded like, because we were on gravel, it sounded like an animal, a squirrel, whatever, was digging in the gravel underneath the trailer. And I got up to look out the window, and Patrick's like, for some reason said, turn off the Alde. And that's our system for heating. And the sound went away. Yeah. And we'd kind of heard some sounds in the Grand Tetons.
It was
made
loud.
Like a louder noise than normal. Didn't think much about it. Just figured it's the altitude. We've heard that before. Didn't think to check the glycol, which is the liquid that runs the Alde. And we were basically no liquid. No liquid,
no glycol. So I had brought 1/2 gallon with me. I actually own 2 half gallons at home. But I brought one of them thinking it was over full when we left. And I just thought, well, just in case, I put the 1/2 gallon in, doesn't even register.
Nope.
So we ended up reaching out to Creed at NuCamp, who gave us a list of dealers in this area that would have glycol. And I started making phone calls. And luckily, Acme RV Camping Center here in Portland. Apache. What did I say?
Not Acme.
Not Acme. That would be what Wild E. Coyote or Roadrunner. A Roadrunner would go to Acme. Apache. But we bought so we drove back up here. I think we would have probably done some other things over on the California coast.
There's another day.
Yeah. So we came back up here, and we put the glycol in. It took about 1/2 of that gallon.
Right.
We ran it all last night. It seems to be fine.
Right.
We don't know, and for those of you that are NuCamp owners, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions. Trust me, I have a lot of questions. We don't know where it went. It didn't leak in the closet, so it's not a cracked tank. We think it probably, this is just a working theory, is that in the Tetons with the high altitudes, and we don't have the high pressure kit, that the glycol probably, I don't know, overheated or what happens, but there's a pressure relief valve, and there's a spot where it can boil over if there's too much pressure.
Right.
And we think probably had we known to look under the trailer in the Tetons, that's probably where most of our glycol went to. So it doesn't appear, we think the pump motor is okay. It seems to be a little louder than normal. But the good news is we have hot water again.
Yeah, we have great hot water.
We're not worried about heat out here. That hasn't been an issue. But so that's kind of why it brought us back up here. And then, you know, now we'll go up into Washington.
Yeah.
There's several harvest hosts up there that we want to explore, and some regions that we didn't get to explore last year.
Well, and a lot of our new friends that were at the Oregon campout kept telling us, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. There's so many neat things to do in Oregon and Washington. So we thought, let's do some of that. So that's what we're going to do.
And one of our friends here that was at our meetup, or our two friends, Nora and Lisa, had offered us to come stay at their house. And quite honestly, we would have loved to. But I was so afraid to go over to their driveway to work on this Alde because
didn't want to make
I was afraid that this Alde, if it leaked out all over their driveway, and I just didn't want to do that to them.
Right.
And so we sure appreciate if you're watching this offering, but that was the reason I just didn't. I was just so afraid that if that thing was leaking, your driveway would be a mess from our glycol, and we did not want to do that. That, you know, so anyway, and everybody's been so nice. We've had so many people reach out to us offering us, you know, places to stay and things like that.
Helpful suggestions, what to try, what to do.
Yep. So, in fact, we were on the phone last night. I was on the phone with Steve, our friend from North Carolina, and Karen, who were also out on the road. But I was on for quite a while. Yeah, so Steve and I, a lot of times, if I'm having issues, I'll consult with Steve because he's been around the block once before with the 400. They're on. We always joke because they're on their second time around the United States in a trailer. So not that they're around the block, but
so hopefully this is our problem fixed, and that we just need to get the high altitude kit put on for the next trip out. To that altitude. And
then the other thing was, a couple people have asked, like, how's your solar working? And I think so far we believe the solar is working outstanding.
It was just when we haven't had sun the last few days.
Yeah,
but when we did, man, it was just
no
pulling
issues.
in. Oh, good grief! It would just top it off, and then it would get to a point where it couldn't pull in anymore because it was
full. The battery was full. So
so it worked great.
Now we did have we believe we had an issue the other night also, as if it wasn't bad enough that the Alde wasn't working. Then I woke up at like 4 a.m. was it? Or
about
5 a.m.
The refrigerator.
It just ran nonstop.
Nonstop running.
And it was draining the battery. Like, we went to bed, the battery's voltage was the equivalent of about 90%. And when we woke up, the battery's voltage was the equivalent of about 50%.
Right.
And so apparently the refrigerator ran all night. It just would not shut off. Now it's working fine again. So I don't know. Go figure.
Well, we had some issues in May with it.
Remember? Yeah, we had issues with the refrigerator. I'm not 100% comfortable that the refrigerator's not defective. But again, that was something Steve and I have talked about. There's a few other people. So if you're having troubles with your two-way fridge, apparently one of the things you can do is if you shut it down for a few hours or maybe even overnight and then you turn it back on, it seems to almost like reset itself. So, but I didn't even have to do that, and it seems to be working fine again.
Right.
So. But all right, I think that's about it. Can you think of anything else that we don't have mail? Obviously, we're on the road.
No mail.
We did our friend Bob, Patreon Bob. I guess that's what we'll call him, Patreon Bob, or RW. He had given us these Radiate portable campfires. We loved them so much we burned through both of them. So Patty went online yesterday.
I did some searching
and found out you can buy them in some stores, including Bed Bath and Beyond.
And out here, at least out here right now.
Sportsman's Warehouse.
I didn't look in other states, but
So she found me one on our way to get the glycol, and I ran in, and I was just going to buy a couple because they were $25 a piece, which is basically what you buy them on their website for. And when the lady rang me up, they rang up at $19.99, and I said, "Are those on sale?" And she said, "No, we're clearance. Those are actually we're
clearancing them out."
So I'm like, "One moment, please," and I run back and I bought the remaining 4 on the shelf.
Up.
So we have 6 campfires now. I think those run like 3 to 5 hours of burn time. And you might say, Patrick, that is ridiculous. $25 for a campfire. Go buy some firewood. But if you think about it, 6 hours of burn time. You buy these bundles, like out here, they're $7 at this park. So you're looking at 3 bundles, and it would probably take 3 bundles to, and then you deal with the smoke and a lot of times the wood.
Right,
like,
and this, you don't deal with that.
Yeah, because there's campfires. That's why one of the reasons we walked over here to do this.
Someone has some wet wood.
Yeah, and it's so smoky over at our campsite.
Gonna have to close our windows up. But yeah, and also I think I read online, I don't know if it's true for all those radiates, but some of them have eucalyptus in them to help with the mosquitoes.
I'm going to pay for that later.
He is.
So, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it because I noticed the time here. We're running long.
Good. We're done.
And we'll try to sneak in another live stream possibly on this trip if we get a good signal.
Yeah.
And
here's little Bess.
And I'd show you Truman, but again, he has me pretty much tied up.
She's 10 months now. Can you look at the camera? There you go.
All right, Bessie, you ready to do it? Till next time, everybody. We'll see ya.
On down the road.
Good night.
Say bye-bye.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.